Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Redx podcast. I am your host today. I'm Andrew. Today, we are joined by Kent Brown, a super successful real estate agent from right here in Utah. Many of you in the audience probably recognize Kent. He's been on this show many times before, and he always has a lot of great insights. Today, we're going to do things a little bit out of the ordinary. We're going to be reviewing common objections, learning effective ways to handle those objections, and we are hopefully going to see Kent handle those objections live on some real prospecting calls. That's right. We're doing some live prospecting on the podcast today. So if you have any objections that you're getting out there, put them in the chat. We'll have Kent pass those along to Kent and have him answer those right here on the show. So Kent, welcome. How you doing today, my man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're super excited to have you here. Every time we have you on the show, it's a blast. So we're looking forward to it.
We need to do it more.
Yeah,
we are doing it. We're doing it again Tuesday.
Yeah, we're going to do some live prospecting on Tuesday as well. So if anyone wants to come see, or next Wednesday, I think, but anyone who wants to see that, join in. We'll probably do that Wednesday morning. For rent by owners. That's right. Vacant rental properties. It's going to be great. Today, I think we're prospecting geo leads. Is that right, Kent?
Yeah. I'm going to do some just listed calls.
Okay, cool. You got some good listings out there?
Yeah, we just listed one yesterday that I haven't called around. So we always call when we list, when we go under contract, and then when we sell.
I love it. Well, I can't wait to get into those live calls. First, before we get going, just a few items of business for the audience. As always, and like I said at the beginning of the show, this is a participatory event. So please, if you're joining us on YouTube, on Facebook, maybe you're on the Redx website, let us know who you are. Let us know where you're from. And for today's episode, please chime in and send us your objections. Anything that you're hearing while you prospect, anything you're hearing from homeowners as you have conversations with them and try and build that rapport, any resistance you're getting, put those in the chat. Kent is amazing at handling objections. He's got a great attitude about objections. He's not afraid of them. He's handled a lot of them over the course of his career. So he's great. And make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. That way you'll be notified every time we have a new episode. So let's dive right in. Kent, to start off, let's have you give the audience a little overview of what objections are, why they are so important to prepare for, how you approach them, specifically with your mindset and any tactics and strategies that you use around objections, right?
Yeah. So I want to give credit where credit is due. Mike Ferry says it all the time. He's the one I coach with. An objection is simply a question in the mind of the seller or the buyer that's left unanswered.
Okay.
So usually when they're giving you an objection, that you can't just come out straight out and say, hey, I want to know how much you charge. They'll say something like, hey, the last guy said they would do it for 5%. Which really means, hey, will you lower your commission?
Right.
So that's all it is. It's a question that the seller needs answered before they can move forward.
Sure. Okay.
Now, different objections. I would say on the phone, you probably shouldn't try to handle too many objections. You should just kind of brush them off, move them aside, because most objections you get on the phone are brush offs to get you off of the phone.
Right.
So you still have to handle them in a sense, but when you're on the listing appointment, that's when you're there in front of the person and need to handle the objection.
Okay.
So that's what an objection is. So there's two things, an objection and then a condition. So if I call you, Andrew, and you say, oh, we're going to hire a friend. That's a
common one, right?
Yeah, that's a common objection.
Okay.
But if I call you and I say, hey, Andrew, so your house came off of the market. What's the story? And you say, oh, I got fired from my job that I actually was going to get promoted to. So we were moving out of state and now we can't. There's nothing I can do about that. Nothing.
Right.
Situation. So that's a condition.
Okay. So objections are things that you, as the potential realtor, as the person calling, have some sense of control over or can affect. Conditions are things that you can't affect and that you might want to back down from, right? Or just
I think so. I mean, if
respect.
At that point I can't say, well, we should get together, and it would be stupid of me to say, Andrew, we should still get together and talk about how I could net you the most amount of money in your pocket. Won't that be great? You'd be like, no, I just lost my job.
Right. Unless you can help me get a new job, then yeah.
Yeah.
The condition. Right.
Have you ever heard of a short sale, Andrew? Well, if we don't get you a new job, let's talk about that.
That's funny. So what is your mindset as you approach objections?
I like objections
Okay.
because I know how to handle them. They really don't affect me. And my mindset when I'm on the phone is try not to really address it. Honestly, if you say, oh, we're going to hire a friend, oh, that's fantastic. And I understand you're hiring your friend, but when you sell, where are you going to next? Like, try to get their reason as to why they're moving and then their motivation. And then you can push on that button of, hey, I know you said you were going to hire your friend, but I also know that getting to Virginia is really important to you, Andrew, and netting the most amount of money. Is that right?
That's right.
So if I can get you to Virginia, put more money in your pocket, it's always good to have a second opinion to make sure you're not leaving any money on the table. Sure. Is that a safe assumption?
Yeah.
So what's 15 minutes for us to get together? And at the end of the day, if nothing I say makes sense, Andrew, you're going to hire your friend instead of me, right?
Right.
So are you available this afternoon or tomorrow? Easier for you.
I love that. And then you go for the appointment, and the appointment, I've heard you say this before, the appointment is where you really start to handle those objections because it's a little bit easier face to face. Is that right?
Right.
Right.
Cool. Most of the time it's a brush off. If they bring it up 3 or 4 times on the phone call, then address it. Then talk about it. My favorite for addressing objections is, Andrew, you said something that worried me a little bit. Can I explain?
Sure.
You said you were going to hire your friend. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I plan to do.
Okay. And is this a business decision for you, or are you just trying to do your friend a favor? Help me understand that.
Well, I know they're a pretty good real estate agent, but they're my friends. So yeah, it's kind of a favor.
Okay. So I always start out with, you said something that worried me a little bit because I want to grab your attention. I want you to listen to me. Okay. I said something that worried you. And then you said you were going to hire your friend. And I do that with a little bit of an upswing because I want to create doubt in their mind. Upswing creates doubt. Downswing creates control.
Okay.
But upswings are sometimes important. So I want to create that doubt of like, man, maybe hiring my friend isn't the best.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It is a business decision. It wouldn't hurt to get a second opinion. Let's just hear this guy out. Because what happens, I love we're going to hire a friend, a family member. I'm a little more shy with because let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to hire you over their mom, their sister,
right,
their mother-in-law. So I really don't push super hard for those, but a friend I can beat out.
Yeah, that's easy.
I'm going to go and give a professional presentation. The friend is going to say, well, let's just do paperwork. Yeah, and they're not going to give a presentation, which is a huge mistake. So if you're listening, and I know this is a little off track.
No, it's fine.
When you have a friend or family member that wants to sell their home, go out and give them a presentation. Show them what you do to sell homes because they're using you because you're a family member, not because they have confidence in you.
Right.
But if you go out and say, hey, this is all that we do to get homes sold, I just wanted to make you aware of that so you don't think I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs. And just like my clients that I work with, I want to have the same result with you, which is if you ever hear of anybody looking to buy or sell, you think of me. Is that fair, Andrew?
Yeah. I love that. Well, that's just in line with, we have a few people chatting in some objections that they get commonly. And I think that what you're talking about right now, Kent, is in line with one that Tim posted. This is a super common one, even just a pretty standard kind of plain objection, which is, I have a realtor. I already have a realtor, right? So what would you say to that? How do you handle that objection when you hear it?
Yeah, I already have a realtor. It depends on the source, honestly. I usually just laugh and say, it wouldn't be 2023 if you didn't know a realtor. There's millions in the United States. But what I'm fully aware of, Tim, is that you're trying to net the most amount of money, right? That's what's most important to you.
Right.
So let's say it's an expired, for example. if it's an expired, oh, I already have a realtor, we're going to use the same realtor. You said something that worries me a little bit, Andrew. May I explain?
Mm-hmm.
You said you're going to hire the same realtor. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So the reason why that worries me is most real estate agents are one-trick ponies, meaning they have one way that they can sell a house. And when that doesn't work, usually they just go rogue and don't really have another solution other than to beat you up on the price.
Right.
So let's see if there's a different approach out there that works better for you to get your home sold and get you to Virginia. Again, I want to know the reason. Like, what's the reason why you're selling?
Right.
Once I know the reason why you're selling, then I can push that button. But if I don't have that reason, nothing I say is even going to matter. It's going to fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, that's great. So I already have a realtor. Again, back to maybe creating a little bit of doubt, or maybe making them question why they're using that realtor, where it came from. Is it a friend? Is it someone who might be less experienced? Usually with an expired, they are less experienced because the home expired, right? So that's great, Kent. Thank you. We have another.
Obviously, throw in a little dig as well. This just depends on the rapport that you have with them.
Sure.
Over the phone or in person, you can say, and truthfully, if they had another way to sell your home and they weren't using it the past 6 months, isn't that kind of insulting to you? If they had a different strategy but weren't using it while your home sat on the market and just continued to devalue?
Right. Right. Yeah, that's definitely a great way to plant a little seed of doubt there. And I think expireds are already kind of frustrated, probably whether they tell you or not, frustrated with their last agent, and are just sick of the whole process. So why do I want to work with another realtor? But I love that kind of letting them know that, like, yeah, I'm not just this one trick pony. I can implement lots of strategies. So that's great. We have some more objections coming here. This is great. If you're watching live and you're just joining us now, please put objections that you are hearing or that you're encountering. Put them here in the chat, and Kent will do his best. He'll do a great job to answer those and give you his strategy behind that. Dolores says, I sold my house, right? There's not a whole lot you can do. That almost sounds like a condition to me. Is that right, Kent?
That's 100% a condition.
A condition, right? Nothing you can do about it as a real estate agent. Their house
is sold. You can look it up on the MLS. You can look it up and say, oh, I don't see any record of it on the MLS. Did it sell privately? So you can dig a little bit deeper if you want to.
Because maybe they're lying. Maybe it didn't sell and they're just trying to get you off the phone and giving you that condition. Or maybe, Kent, correct me if I'm wrong here, maybe they're a good source for a referral or someone to add to your database, or, ask if there's, like we're doing geo leads later today, maybe ask if there's anyone that they know in the neighborhood who's also looking to move or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Great. And then David Webster says, here's one. I'm just not selling right now, right?
Yeah, common one. I mean, again, that's a condition. One thing you have to realize is you can't force anybody to do anything. Like selling their house. You can't force them to do that.
Absolutely.
Or want to do that. Maybe a more common one is, oh, we're going to wait a couple of months. See, then you can create urgency around that to say, move up their timeline. But not selling right now, David, you go best of both worlds. Hey, completely understand. You live in a fantastic neighborhood. You'll hear me do this on the Just Listed calls. Oh, I completely understand. You live in a great neighborhood, so acknowledge it. Give them a little, yeah, that's fantastic. Listen, I know that plans change. Life happens. If you were to ever sell, who is the realtor that you would use? Oh, no, I don't have one right now. Would you mind if we stayed in, and write this down, would you mind if we stayed in touch from time to time? You're not giving them a date. You're not saying, hey, do you mind if I email you once a week, which is what you're going to do, or once a month? Do you mind if we stay in touch from time to time? Oh, yeah, definitely. Great. What's the best email for you? Then once you have their email, now you have their address, their phone number, their email, their name. There's so much that you can do with that.
Right. Absolutely. And I love that non-invasive approach, right? A lot of agents are hesitant because they don't want to come across as salesy. They don't want to be pushy. They don't want to pressure anyone because, in this day and age, people are super sensitive to sales, right? And so just staying in touch, that makes it feel like you're their friend, right? Like, hey, I just want to chat. I just want to catch up every now and then.
See, and in their mind, they're thinking, oh, he's just going to call me. He already has my number. We're already on the phone.
Right.
But when you throw in what's the best email for you, they'll feel trapped. Like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's this.
Right.
They'll hesitate a little, and you'll see that, but it works out really well. When you're circle prospecting, especially, you're not going to get as many objections. You're going to get a lot more conditions than you will objections. That's the beauty about circle prospecting, is you're just looking for the low-hanging fruit, but your goal should be to add 2 to 3 people to your database every single day.
Right. 2 to 3 people to email or keep in touch with. And
yeah, let's say worst case scenario, you add 2 people to your database a day. You prospect 200 days a year. You've added 400 people to your database. Now, if I nurture and farm those people, I'm going to do probably 20, 30 deals just off circle prospecting per year. Worst case scenario, if my systems are in place.
Right.
So like Ricky Caruth is a perfect example of this. Guy called hardcore for 5 years. And now he can sit back and he just reaps the benefits from his weekly email. Like, he still puts in the work, but he put in a ton of work at the beginning and now is getting residual business week after.
Right. Right. He filled his pipeline super aggressively, and now he's just, that pipeline is just dripping over the years. And because it's full enough, it's great, consistent business. That is a great way to do it. And that's going to be great that we get to hear you do in just a few minutes on your circle prospecting, just listed calls. So I'm excited for that. We have a couple more objections, and this is great. Everyone who's watching, please do not stop feeding us these objections, even when Kent starts live prospecting. We will stop during his calls to answer as many of these as we can. This is great. Lori asks, what do you say when they want to cut a commission? They only want to pay less for that commission, right? Commission is a common objection, right? I don't want to pay you. I want to pay less, right?
Especially for FSBOs, but I'm trying to get them to admit. So let's say it's FSBO, for example. Usually if you're interviewing and you're out on the expireds, you won't get the commission as much. You just won't. And if you do, you can say, did the last agent cut their commission for you? Yeah. Maybe that's the reason why it didn't sell, Andrew.
Oh, that's great. I love that one.
Let's look into that. FSBOs, I want to get them to admit that the reason why they're selling by themselves is because of commission. And I know all of us are afraid of that. But once you get them to admit that, you can say, listen, is it really about the commission or about the amount of money that you want to net in your pocket at the end of the sale? Which is more important to you, Andrew?
Netting the most money, obviously.
Yeah. So if we got together and found that you were leaving money on the table and you could cover, by hiring me, you could cover all commissions, I take care of the whole process for you and net you more money in your pocket, would you want that extra money at closing?
Yeah, if you think you could do that, but commissions are expensive, man. I don't know.
Commissions are expensive, but that's exactly why we need to get together to see if it's even an option. Because at the end of the day, if net bottom line, I can't put more money in your pocket, there's no way you're going to hire me, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what's the harm in getting together for 15 minutes so you can have peace of mind that you're making the best decision for you and your family?
Sure. I mean, if you really think that you can make me more money even with a commission, but I doubt it.
Yeah, well, let's get together and see. Are you available this afternoon or tomorrow work better?
That's great. You just keep pushing for that appointment because that's the best way to talk to him. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And then I think we look at, okay, well, now we're on the appointment. How can we show that we're going to make them more money? I think the biggest thing, especially when meeting with for sub-buy owners, you can say, hey, have you ever heard of the supply of law and demand? I've never fallen up, Andrew. I've only ever fallen down.
Right.
Same thing. The more demand you have for your house, the more money you're going to make. Right.
Right.
So how do we create that demand? And then we show them our marketing plan. And this is how we're going to net you more money. That's why the average for sell by owner sells for, I think it's 17% less than if the agent were hiring. Or
right. Even with that commission, right?
Even with that commission. So it's, hey, do you want to lose money? Like, is that, if you're looking for a bottom feeder buyer, you've got them. Because if I'm going to overlook all of the homes in the MLS and the comfort of my car, the realtor's car, and air conditioning and gas to go look at your home, why do you think I'm going to be looking at your home, Andrew? To get a discount.
Right.
I don't think your home's a discount.
And most buyers are working with an agent anyway, and the agent will know to look for sale by owners for that discount, right? Just like
yeah. One of my favorite lines to say is, Andrew, do you know what real buyers have?
What's that?
Realtors. So let's get together.
Cool. Real buyers, realtors. I love that. I love that. Well, Kent, we have a few more questions, objections. David has one that, what do you say if it's the wrong person or the wrong number? I think we're going to get a little bit of that on your live calls. So let's go ahead and start making some of these live prospecting calls. And again, to the audience, if you have more objections that you want Kent to go over, we'll come back to these during these calls and at the end of the podcast today. So Kent is going to warm up his leads and his dialer, and he's going to get calling. So yeah, let's do it.
We're calling. Let me know if you can hear this. So I bought this little microphone thing.
Love it.
Hey, those were all great objections.
Yeah, they were amazing. We got a lot of them too. I love that. Got a great audience today.
Hey, Rosa, this is Kent over at Summit Realty. I was calling because we just listed the Papwords home for sale over on Empress Lane in West Jordan. Was curious to see if you might know of anybody looking to move into the neighborhood that would be a great fit. If you do, give me a call back, 805. Thanks so much. Talk soon.
Great. Let's move your phone a little bit further away from the mic. That was really loud. But otherwise, that was good. So you just left a voicemail, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Answering rate has been really, really low today. And I think it's because we're going into the weekend.
Right. A holiday weekend, nonetheless.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. I was looking for Rosa Martinez. Are you her husband by chance?
No, you got the wrong number. Sorry.
Oh, I may. Let me ask you this. Did you ever live on Oker Ridge Road in West Jordan?
Yeah, the road right next to Falcon Ridge.
Yeah, that one.
So, yeah, I did a long time ago.
Oh, okay. That makes sense why your number got tagged to it. So, well, my name's Kent. I'm a local real estate agent. We actually have a home listed for sale in that neighborhood. Any chance you're looking to move back into the area?
No.
No? Okay, fair enough. Well, I appreciate your call.
I don't think I can do it right now.
Say that again.
I'm only 20. I can't really do much right now.
Oh, you're 20. Hey, you know what? Eventually, you'll be able to buy something. You're still young and vibrant, so that's awesome. Well, do you know of anybody that may be looking to buy, sell, or invest at this time we can help out?
No, I don't know anybody.
No? Okay. Not a problem at all. Well, thank you so much for taking my call. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, man.
All right.
Bye.
There you go. And that answers David's objection of what do you say if it's the wrong person, wrong number? You just ask if they want to move, you know?
Yeah, just don't think about it too much.
Yeah.
That's all you do.
Love it.
Just have to be detached from any outcome. Ooh, this is a good one by Daryl.
Yeah, let me know when you want to answer that one. We'll go over it.
Here, I'll pause really quick.
Great. So Daryl asked, "What if
still ringing?" I still have 2 lines.
Okay, we'll wait until you're done.
There you go.
All done?
Whew. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Daryl asked, "What if a for sale by owner property is priced high? How can you convince them that you can net them more while paying you a commission?"
Yeah, I think I think them being realistic on their price. Again, going back to their motivation, Daryl, is super, super important because if they're priced high, that's best situation for you. You have to remember with for sale by owners, you're playing the long game. You're going to follow up with them over and over and over again. Still try to get the appointment every time you call them. But if they're priced too high, they're just going to sit there. And the longer they sit there, the more they're going to realize that you're right. So when you go out there, present on price. Say, hey, based on your neighborhood and what the market is willing to bear, this is where I would recommend you price your home at. Now they're going to sell that home for that price with you, not on their own. So even if they go back and say, well, okay, we're going to list it at this, they're not going to sell it at that, likely, depending on the market. But for sell by owners want the most amount of money. They really don't care. One really good line to use with for sell by owners, is it more important to you that you said, hey, I sold the house on my own, or for you to, again, net the most amount of money?
Right. Money talks.
So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that through marketing, pricing the home right, because part of pricing or part of marketing is price. So if Redx was $2,000 a month for expireds, would anybody be here right now? Probably not. You guys are competitive in the market.
Right.
So anyways.
Great. No, great answer. I love that. Hope that helps, Daryl.
Yeah, I have made, let's see, I have made 475 calls and have 15 contacts today.
Wow, that's impressive.
Usually I would have about 47. I'm about 10%, which
that's
is
crazy. That's great. I mean, still contact's a contact, right? But
it is.
Must be a dead day. And people in our area are
Hey, Tanny Kent over at Summit Realty. I was reaching out because we have a home listed for sale, the Papworth, over on Empress Lane. Was curious to see if you might know of anybody looking to move into the area, or if you yourself have thought about selling. If you have, give me a call back, 801-592. Soon.
Great. And school is just getting out here in Utah. So we got a lot of people gearing up for Memorial Day weekend. They're getting their kids out of school. But I mean, even just here on the podcast, you've already left 2 voicemails and had 1 conversation in the last 5 minutes. So it's great.
Hello, you reached the voicemail for Tanya. Sorry, I can't make it to the phone. Please
the right
leave me a
number.
message and I'll call you back. Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Tanya, Kent over at Summit Realty. I was reaching out because we have Robbie and Liz Papworth's home for sale over on Empress Lane. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath house. We're expecting a lot of activity. We have it priced at $384,000. So really expecting multiple offers, but only have 1 home to sell. Was curious to see if you've ever thought about selling or may know of anybody that would be a good fit for the neighborhood. If you do, or either of those apply to you, give me a call back, 801-592. Thanks so much.
There you go. And for everyone listening, take this voicemail script and transcribe it and use this voicemail script when you do your just listed calls. I think that's a great voicemail script for just listed.
Please leave your message for 801-856-555.
Hi, this is Kent over at Summit Realty. Sorry for that bad connection. I was reaching out because we have Robbie and Liz Papworth's home for sale over on Empress Lane. We have it priced at $384,000, so expecting multiple offers on the property. Only have 1 house to sell though, so was curious to see if you've ever thought about selling or may know of anybody that would be a great fit for the neighborhood. If you do, call me back at 801-592. Yeah, today was a prospecting day, which is why I'm a little more casual.
Yeah, I love it.
Please leave your message for 385.
Just going to drop the messages. That way we can get real people.
Love it.
Hello?
Hello, Annette.
Hello?
Hello, is this Annette?
No.
No. Do you know an Annette Anthony by chance?
No.
Okay, I may have the wrong number. I was looking for a homeowner on Dawn Vista Road in West Jordan. Would that be you by chance?
Yeah, no, this is not her.
Okay, I struck out on all fronts. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Have a great day. Bye.
Tim asked, do you always leave a message, a voicemail?
If I'm doing just listed, just sold, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why I really don't do it with expireds because I call expireds. They don't want to talk. I call expireds 7, 8, 9, 10 times. You know, I hit them pretty hard, pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
But with just listed, I do. And the biggest reason why is because neighbors talk to each other. So,
Right.
if Robbie and Liz go to talking to their neighbors and they're like, yeah, I got a message from your realtor saying that you're selling your house. They told me the details on it. How is that going to make me look in their eyes?
Yeah, that you're working hard.
That I'm working hard, that I'm doing what
great.
I said I would do.
Right. And then that just kind of strengthens your local rapport, helps strengthen your referral base.
Right. Yeah.
I love that. And it makes your client happy. So
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Hi, you've reached Jeannie Anthony Cell. Sorry I could not get to your call, but if you leave your name, Hello?
Hello, Naomi.
No, you have the wrong number.
Oh, I was looking for a Naomi Flores. Does that ring a bell at all? Do you know her?
No.
Okay. By chance, I guess maybe I just have the wrong name. Do you live on Feldspar Way in West Jordan?
We used to.
You used to. Okay, that makes more sense why I got your number. So we have a home listed for sale there. My name's Kent. I'm a local real estate agent. Have you ever given any consideration to moving back into the neighborhood?
No, that was a starter neighborhood. We don't want to go back there.
I love it. I love it.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for taking my call. Any other real estate needs you might have at this time? Buying, selling, or investing?
Not right now, no.
Not at the moment.
No, but thank you.
Hey, no, thanks for letting me do my job. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
That's great. Easy.
Easy peasy.
Let's do calls for a few more minutes, maybe 3 or 4 more minutes here, and then we'll go over some of these last objections and then.
Bueno, Marcelino?
No?
I was looking for a Marcelino Cortez. You know him by chance?
That's the number.
Wrong number. Sorry about that. Hey, have a good one.
No.
Bye. He's speaking Spanish. I'm not going to. I don't.
I don't speak Spanish. That's all right.
But he answered bueno, so I answered bueno. Let's see. Jake asked, what's your wildest objection? The wildest objection I've ever gotten, and this was from a buyer, was, is the insulation pink or yellow? Because I'm allergic to yellow insulation.
That's a wild objection. What did you tell him?
I was like, well, it's all made out of the same thing. And he's like, no, I am allergic to the yellow insulation. I was like, well, I really don't know. Because I don't have X-ray vision. I can't see inside the wall. Needless to say, that was the one time I took him out and the last time I took him out. Because I wasn't going to be like, hey, before we come out, can you check with the seller if they have yellow?
Do you mind if I put a hole in your wall and see if it's pink or yellow?
I'll just cut a little hole.
That's funny. That is a wild objection. Any other crazy ones?
No, I mean, they're pretty much the same. They're all the same, really. They're just different variations of it.
Right.
But that was the one that I will always remember of being like, okay. And that was even a condition. That wasn't even an objection. Well, Maybe not. I don't know.
That's great.
Should have just said that it's pink because they are all the same. Like I think you're probably just allergic to insulation, and you shouldn't touch your body to insulation because it's fiberglass. So that's a bad idea.
Good advice. That's great. Yeah, I missed Jacob up at the top there. That's a good question, because I'm sure that after hundreds and thousands of calls that you get some pretty crazy ones, or people messing with you or whatever.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, Christy. Or I was looking for Christy Shelby. Are you her husband?
No, you have the wrong number.
I do. This is in Austin.
No.
Okay, sorry about that. Did you by chance ever live on Discovery Drive in West Jordan, or am I just completely off?
I think you're completely off.
Okay, must be. Sorry about that, man. We'll have a great day.
You're good. Thank you.
Bye. Where do you get your phone numbers to make the calls? And how do you make sure the numbers are scrubbed? And where do you get the call?
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and call voice will try to connect you.
Kent Brown. Should we pause here?
Yeah. If you're,
okay. They don't answer.
Yeah.
Lori. So I get the phone numbers from Redx. Oh, there we go. I have like a little circle thing in front of one of the words, and I cannot read it. How do you make sure the numbers are scrubbed? So Redx does all that for you. They scrub against the DNC. And where do you get the call dialer he has in his hand? Oh, this is just my phone, and this is a Gidget. So
he's working out while
he's dialer in hand. It's in the system. But the cool thing about the dialer is if you don't want to call the DNC numbers, the dialer will just filter it out. So you don't even have to think about it. You can just say, yep, call these numbers that aren't on the DNC, and Wave will just go straight through it.
Right. And Lori, the phone numbers you get from Redx, like Kent said, they are scrubbed against the DNC, and then the dialer is built right into the system. So you load your leads, those are the phone numbers, and then you can call directly from your computer. You can connect it to your phone like Kent is doing. So he's calling through his cell phone, through his computer, a lot of different ways to do that. And yeah, it's kind of an all-in-one system there. So if you're interested, you can give us a call or check out our website.
Yeah, do it. So one thing I want to bring up before I let you go, Andrew, is with objections, this is super important. So when you get an objection, repeat the objection back to them. So it's like you're listening. So give me an objection, whatever it is.
Yeah, my last home, it didn't sell, it expired. I'm not happy with my agent. So I think we don't really want to move anymore. We're just going to wait another 6 months to a year.
Oh, that was a loaded objection. So, okay. So you're unhappy with your agent. Sounds like you don't want to move right now.
Right.
So I'm repeating, summarizing. I completely agree. It's a stressful situation. And then, so repeat, approve. Like I'm hearing you. I understand you. I'm acknowledging you. People don't want to be wrong. They want to be right. So never make anybody wrong.
Right.
That's how you approve it. Even if it's the dumbest thing, like, oh, you want pink insulation? Yeah, I get that. We don't want you to be allergic to anything or make sure that you're itchy. I'm never going to talk to you again because I don't want to work with you. But I didn't say that. But then you ask the next question.
Right.
So repeat, approve. And Andrew, had you sold the home, where were you going next?
We were headed to Arizona.
Arizona, that's really exciting. What was bringing you to Arizona?
We've got some family down there. My parents are down there, and we're going to want to spend some time with them before they retire and get old. So,
okay. So what would moving to Arizona and being close to your family do for you?
Well, I want my parents to have more time with their grandkids, and we just miss our family. So,
okay. So this is called pacing and leading. So pacing is I'm saying truths because you're telling me things that are truths in your mind.
Yes.
Okay. So you want it back with your family. Yeah.
Right.
You want to be there before your parents retire and maybe you're too old to play with your kids.
Right.
And Now, leading somebody is I'm going to assume something. Andrew, it sounds like it's really important for your kids to be with your family.
Right.
That's an assumption. Yeah. So if we could get you to be with your parents so your kids can be with your family, would that move still be important to you?
Yeah, I think so. But like I said, we're going to try maybe in 6 months to a year. We wanted to move in the summer when the kids are out of school. So
definitely. Well, let's get together now and see if we can make it happen. I mean, your parents aren't getting any younger, are they?
That's right. They sure aren't.
So anyways, thank you. I'm a little hyper today. I don't know.
No,
why.
that's all right. Ken, this has been amazing. And I know that our audience appreciates it because they have been asking questions and giving us their objections all episode long. So thank you to the audience for participating. Yeah. We love having questions. We love when you feed us your objections. So that was great. Kent, thank you for being here and making those live calls. I think we accomplished a lot of things. We helped people overcome their objections. We showed them that doing these calls and that overcoming these objections doesn't have to be as difficult and scary as a lot of them think it is. And we showed them just the reality of prospecting, making these live calls, right? Like in the last, it's kind of a dead week and approaching a weekend, like you said, but you still talked to 4 or 5 people. You still left a bunch of voicemails. And even though it was maybe a slow day for you as a prospecting day, it was still successful and you still made a lot of contact with people, right? It's a numbers game. So that's why they call it prospecting, because the more people you call, you're going to find those nuggets of gold that are hidden out there. When you call, how many successful calls and how many good connections that leads to sales do you have every week or every day, would you say?
I mean, I try to get an appointment a day is the ultimate goal, or 5 a week.
5 a week.
Really what I'm looking for. So that should, and then trying to add 2 people to my database each and every day. So, I mean, it's more important to me. I focus a lot less on the outcome now and more on the activity, because the activity is more important than focusing on the outcome, because the outcome comes when you're active with the activity. Ooh, that was a word salad.
All right. No, I love that. I love that. And these are all important principles for people to recognize, especially as a newer agent, right? I think a lot of the scary things about calling and the scary thing about objection and rejection is comes with just a lack of practice. And Kent, I know you've been an agent for what, 4 or 5 years now?
Going on 5.
Going on 5. But even early on, I've known you your entire real estate career. Even early on, you were still putting in the calls, putting in the work, building your database, facing rejection, dealing with objections. You just got to jump in and do it and work those muscles and get that practice. So
it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I remember it was right after I left Redx and started into real estate. I was only a month or 2 in, and you guys started your podcast and said, "Hey, can't we come on and do live prospecting for rent by owners?" And yeah, like 2 months into the business. So if you want to watch me brand new, just go back and watch that video from 5 years ago.
Yeah, we've done a ton of podcasts with Kent. We've covered for rent by owners, for sell by owners, stuff like this, objections and different training. So Kent has a really great balanced perspective between starting as a new agent, finding success, and then now being a more experienced agent. So that's great. Kent, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone who joined live today, thank you. Thank you for feeding us your objections. I hope that's been helpful. If you want to listen to this podcast recording or get a replay, it'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Facebook. We do an audio only version wherever you listen to podcasts. So on Apple, on Spotify, wherever you like to do that. So please go like and subscribe. We do this podcast every week, every Thursday at 1:30 Mountain Time. I guess that's 3:30 Eastern. So please join us next Thursday and every Thursday if you want great advice from amazing agents and like Kent, and coaches and trainers and some of the best in the industry. So
Wednesday, 9:00, join us for
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday next week, 9:00. We're going to be doing some more live prospecting with Kent here. He's going to be calling. What did we decide, Kent?
I think for rent by owners.
I think for rent by owners. Yeah. So property owners, vacant rental property owners, that's going to be great. So we'll just go live on YouTube, on Facebook. So please join us there. That's why you should like and subscribe, because we do some impromptu shows like that sometimes. And it's a lot of fun, a little bit more casual. And Kent does a really good job on those. So again, thank you for being here, Kent. Thank you to our audience. And we will see everyone next week.
See you guys. Thanks.